Sekeres and Price from Wall Center, a presentation of Applewood Auto Group, and it's Friday. We have reached S versus P, our debate segment, brought to you by LiUNA 1611, BC Laborers Union. They have contractors looking for their members to hire today. Check out 1611.ca. LiUNA 1611 has your back. Today's topic: does Pius Suter make the Vancouver Canucks a playoff team? I will be arguing yes. Blake will be arguing no. 2 minutes per argument. Mediator Grady Sass presiding. And we have a draw from last week's S versus P. Would JT Miller make a good captain? I argued yes. You argued no. And I'm not sure we've ever seen this in the recent history here, the new history of our debate segment, S versus
ties, P. But this is not a close tie.
We've had close ties a lot, but you throttled me on Twitter 62% to 38%, and I throttled you on YouTube 43 votes to 16. So
very odd.
We call it a draw. I'm 2-6-3 on the season, so
You know what they say about
a win, but I got a result, to use a soccer term.
You know what they say about ties? It's like kissing your sister.
Oh, you were far too young to use that expression.
I had hockey coaches tell us that when we didn't win.
Yeah. And they were much, much older than you.
You know what I say, Grady? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
He'll tell you that for free.
So is Matt going to climb his way back up the standings here with some draws?
The history
is that the game plan?
of S versus P, or previously Take 5 Thursday, has all sorts of comebacks down the stretch.
It's a two-team league.
That is the hope.
Draws get you nowhere. It's a two-team league.
You got to get some shootout losses in there.
I don't lose any ground, put it that way. I'm in position to be in position later in the season.
Just hold steady.
2 years away from 2 years away.
Maybe you can put a couple wins together.
Okay.
We'll see. All right, who's going first?
Blake, who do you want to go first here?
I'll go first.
All right.
All right, Blake, your 2 minutes begins now.
Pius Suter is what makes the Canucks a playoff team? Really? Didn't we just ask yesterday or the day before about which Canuck is going to win a league-wide trophy first? I don't remember Suter being discussed there. If this team makes the playoffs, they'll make it because of Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, Thatcher Demko, quite possibly Kuzmenko or Miller. That's what will get them in. Hey, I mean, it's a team game, don't get me wrong. The others have to perform their roles and duties, and improving the surrounding cast was most definitely needed. But a single supporting actor doesn't get a movie the Oscar for Best Film. Pius Suter filled a need, no doubt, but not unlike that of Susie, Cole, Roenick, or Bluger. It's a collective that will make the difference. Suter will be filling the third C hole, and if it works out, is only important if the other guys I just mentioned also fulfill their roles properly. And again, the most horsepower dragging the team across the line comes from the true stars on the team. Guys making $5 to $8 million per season get you there, not $1.6 million. The guys like Suter just make sure you don't screw it up. This is no slight to the player. He's a good value signing, but let's be real. He's a 30-point player. Pettersson will have that by December. So it's hard to fathom how that player is pushing you over the top. He was an unsigned free agent into mid-August. Nobody in the league wanted to offer him a contract that got his interest, and now he's the difference maker for the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks needed a third-line center, but in a ranking of third-line centers in the league, where is he landing? Squeaks into the top 20? That would be generous. Again, this isn't to be negative. The Canucks are lucky to have found him at that price for that term. It was good business. But good business for a role player.
4 seconds to spare for those keeping track at home.
Oh, I know where the clock is at.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that why you're always heavy going into breaks back in the day, pissing the producers off? We got to get to ads.
It's not me.
No.
Oh, I was
think it was
bad
Matt.
at that, Grady. I was very bad. Blake was much better running the clock than I was.
Starting 6 minutes after the hour.
That's the one thing I'll give him. Oh, 6. Sometimes we were 11.
Oh, jeez.
Rob Gray used to periodically come in and go, you know, Matt, we designed the clock with ins and outs for a reason. It is data-based. So when you go to 6 minutes over the hour in your last segment, and then we get to an update, and then we're on back to like 11 minutes, he's like, you're kind of screwing with everything we're trying to do here. Sorry, Rob.
Boss is cracking down. Speaking of cracking down, I'm going to implement a new rule. When the other person is giving the rant here, the other contestant is not allowed to be typing on their computer.
No.
I saw some frame movement there on your computer, Mr. Sekeres, as Blake was giving his argument.
I apologize for that, Mediator Sass, but I am allowed to rebut.
Okay.
If you go second.
Don't make me whip out the rule book here.
And the microphone was off. The microphone was off.
I don't believe you.
Boy, I'm waiting for the day I get a fair shake in this segment.
Okay, fire. Let's go.
Rigged.
All right. Your 2 minutes, Matt, begins now.
So in rebuttal, Blake's misinterpreting the question and disparaging a good NHL player with a smart Harvard mouth. We're asking, is he the missing piece? He talks about points, but he doesn't address the defensive side, and he misrepresented Suter's free agency. He did have offers, and late summer often brings bargain guys. Now, Suter fills the Canucks' most pressing need, third-line center, and he gives them balance they need to finally get back to the playoffs. Prior to his signing, the Canucks lacked quality and quantity at center, but now they have a legitimate third-line center and a good chance of 3 scoring lines, not to mention another defensive option at center to match up. He kills penalties, big weakness filled there. He plays responsibly. He's the type of player who will fit with how Rick Tocchet wants to play. What's more, he helps the Canucks in 3 other areas offensively. He's your centerman for the second power play unit. They didn't have one of those prior to Suter. He can play up the lineup and replace Patterson or Miller should they get injured. He showed very well with DeBrincat and Patrick Kane a couple of years back, so he can play with skill. And he may well be the center to unlock Connor Garland, whose offensive potential is better than what we've seen through 2 seasons in Vancouver, and that's because Suter is a high IQ player. Now, he also allows the Canucks to slot Teddy Bluger and or Nils Oman on the 4th line. That's more appropriate for them. And hey, we may not have heard the last from Calgary and Winnipeg, who were respectively the last team out and the last team in last season. Winnipeg could dismantle further with Connor Hellebuck, Mark Scheifele traded. Calgary could be weaker if Elias Lindholm, Michael Backlund, and or Noah Hannafin get dealt. Look, Suter's not the perfect player, but for a Canucks team that will be stouter defensively, healthy in goal, better on the PK while still retaining enough goals, he's enough to inch them into a wild card spot in what is not a particularly deep conference.
Double-digit seconds to spare there.
I had it as 8, but...
Oh, well then.
All right, everybody, there are the arguments. We ask that you vote, whether you're consuming this on Twitter or on YouTube. And if you're listening to the podcast, get thee to Twitter or YouTube to vote. And, of course, leave a comment behind as well.
This clip brought to you by LiUNA 1611, BC Laborers Union. Check out 1611.ca.